Hello, everyone. We are a day early, so welcome to a Saturday shift.
Right? On a Saturday. That's just criminal.
Criminal like Sidwell, or like Sunny, not
Yeah,
like Sidwell. Yeah,
right.
that kind of criminal.
That
Very
kind of
likable
criminal.
criminal.
Very likable, not that bad, easy on the eyes, but
Period. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. Do us a favor. If you watch GH and you have a friend, send them this podcast and tell them that Tracy and Tanya are funny and witty and they should be listening to us. So,
yeah.
um, thanks for all your support. Tanya, how was your week?
My week was it was okay. I think it was a week where everyone's anticipating the holidays, so we're here, but we're not here at work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, I had a couple of birthdays this week. Actually only one birthday, but we celebrated twice. Uh, and then, so pretty chill, getting in the groove with my crochet. I keep forgetting to put on my brace for my wrist like I did just now. And so I'm kind of suffering the consequences of that, but it's fine. I'm
Wait,
okay. It's like that dog that's in the fire. Like it's
wait,
okay.
whose birthday did you say it was?
My friend, her name is Monica.
Gotcha.
Monica
Gotcha.
Brooks, Ms. Brooks on Twitter, if those who are following her.
I thought you said your birthday. I
Uh,
was like, your birthday's in February.
yeah. No, it's my half birthday. No, I have no idea. And
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, no, that's probably like July or something.
My half birthday is March 26th, which is my little brother's birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I mean, I just had like a pretty chill-ish week. I've been like deep in this like research report for the past few weeks, and so have been doing that, continuing to do my, Apple Fitness dance videos. So I really be dancing every
Yes.
day. I really be
And
dancing.
like we need to find each other because I'm like, I still don't see you on mine, and I definitely need some motivation.
Okay, I'll make sure
Um,
that I will make sure that we do that today.
okay. 'Cause
Um,
I want to dance with somebody.
hey.
I don't need to feel the heat, but yeah, I do want to dance.
um, a classic Whitney song, R.I.P.
Yes. Yes.
Um, yeah, so that's just been, yeah, it's pretty chill. Um, one of the things, let us know in the comments if you watch Love Island, because I've been like talking my head off to friends who do not watch it, but I want to talk about Love Island with people who watch soap operas. Because I think that like soap watchers, like we just see things so differently. So we're recording early. I'm pretty free this weekend for the rest of the weekend. So let me know. We could do something special, chat about Love Island. Let me know. Put it in the comments if y'all are interested.
Oh my God. Last week I binge watched Perfect Match on
Yes.
Netflix. And it was like I was literally watching it the whole night. I stayed up until like almost 3 a.m. I texted my best friend. I said, I am mad at you for making me watch this show. She didn't make me watch it, but she's the one that got me addicted to these romance reality shows. And I texted her in the middle of the night saying, I'm mad at you. But for those who watched, I guess, what is it? Some show that makes you Love is Blind. Okay,
Yeah.
Love is
Hmm.
Blind UK. And then there's a guy that was on Love is Blind UK that was on Perfect Match. So I kind of
Yep.
got to follow him on his journey. I forgot his name. Ollie
Ali.
and
AD.
Ollie and AD. Yes. So
Hmm.
that was interesting to see them play another game and get together. Um, so
I'm
yeah,
not
I've
a
been
fan. I'm not a fan of them,
no,
sadly.
I mean, I was a fan of Ollie, and then he's like, his behavior was just so out of pocket. I'm like, ugh. So I don't know, but it was interesting just to follow the same characters. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. I actually think that Love Island and Love is Blind are like really similar to like if you think about like GH and Days of Our Lives,
Uh-huh.
because Love Love is Blind is filmed like a year out. So people have
Okay.
like lived their lives before the show goes. So they do the show, they live their lives, then the show airs, and so they have to kind of deal with it twice.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I also wonder if that might be a little bit healthier because they have some distance, like a gap, versus
Mm-hmm.
Love Island. We basically are seeing things in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they get out and when they get like the producers are not able to edit the same way, like it's just all of that,
Mm-hmm.
like 'cause they don't know the ending. And so when they get out, they're like walking out from being isolated to walking into fame. And that I think has to be really tough on your mental health. And not in the mental health way, but Days of Our Lives films like a year or like, 6 months, whatever amount of months out versus GH, which is pretty quick. And I think that they're able to make changes within the storyline when they need to, if it's like absolutely not working in a way that Days isn't.
Yeah, the other show that I watched, Big Brother, similar to that,
Yeah.
where it's pretty quick. It happens, real time. And once people leave the house, everyone's like the world is mad at them or something, and they have to deal with the
Yeah.
fallout. So it's
Yeah.
like it's pretty. So those who watch Big Brother, you can tweet at me because I tend to make some tweets about them on X or Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So that's us with our trash reality shows. And just like the empath in me is like, oh my God, I'm worried about such and such's mental health. Like in a very
Yeah.
real way, because that's a lot. And
Yeah, and
they're
there's
like
like
younger.
yeah, and then on a Big Brother, there's like two camps because you can watch the actual show that airs on network television, and then they have a live feed. And so there are fans who only watch the network show and have a different opinion about what's happening than those who watch the live feed. And we kind of get into little battles
Hmm.
about it. I'm one of those that only watch the show when it airs because the live feed, you have to be really into it.
Yeah.
And I ain't got that kind of time. So it's just like I only air what the network shows me. And so I have a different opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah, because I gotta
Well,
watch General Hospital. I can't not.
period. And I know that the other thing is I'm very, very, very behind on Beyond the Gates, but I know that they're taking like a
Me
little week off or
too.
something. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to catch up during the time off so that then I can start watching again, like with
Hmm.
everybody else. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about GH, your performer of the week.
Before I get into that, man, are we like on a sweeps month or something? Because
It's been
man,
really good. It's been good.
I was like glued to it. Like usually sometimes I have to wait, or I usually wait till I get home to watch. Then I've been like taking all day, every day lunch break so I can watch GH. And
I
then
love
me and
that.
and
I
I and
noticed
like,
that you were
sure,
tweeting about it earlier during the
yeah.
day. I was like,
I
how is
was
she
like,
watching? Yeah.
yeah, I've been like during my lunch break, and sometimes I wait until like 2 o'clock so I can watch it live on my phone because I got the app on my cable app on my phone. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh my God, I can't wait. I gotta watch it now. So yeah, it's been that gripping. And so, ooh, how many like I have to give it up to Cameron Madison again.
Again,
Oh my God. Oh my God.
infuriating.
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 And I
Cameron.
and I'm hoping that, he might have stayed away from a lot of social media because everybody was hating on Drew and like not really showing any kind of love to now. I'm hoping he's able to get back on it now and see that even though the character is just like horrible, we are loving on this man because he's doing such a phenomenal job about it. So I'm hoping that he's able to tune in and see that love because it from all intents and purposes, it doesn't look like he's going to be on there that long because, man.
Right.
So I'm hoping he'll be able to experience that joy, but I'm sure he's had always a lot of fan love. So this, but still, he's getting a lot of it from the soap fans
Ooh,
now.
cause
Um,
Drew this week,
yeah.
I said, Cameron,
Um,
it's like the little subtle choices he did with like the faces he made. It was just like I am going to hop through this screen. Like, yeah, it
yes.
was Drew.
Mm. I also want to shout out to the ensemble of um, Nancy Legrand, Mara West, and Kate Mancy, and Rick Hurst, because
So good.
man, that was such a twist. I was not seeing it coming, but shocking of all shockers, y'all. Don't think that I've been replaced by an imposter, because I am going to shout out Nancy Legrand, because because she's not only like, her Natasha-ness has not only come out because of the Rick stuff, it's also coming out because of the Jew stuff. And so I'm
Hmm.
liking this Natasha because she's leaning into her, sketchiness. She's less, self-righteous, and just, being, taking care of business, standing on business. And so I appreciate that about her character, that switch. So, um, okay, Nancy, I'm gonna give you some props. Yay. And then, Mara West is always Weston, love it. And, so it's great. But yeah, and shout out to Black Hospital too. Man, there's so many actors that are just doing great. This week was just amazing and phenomenal.
Hmm.
So yeah, but I guess the lead will be Cameron,
Yeah.
who may
I
be on his
want
way
to
out.
talk about, I mean, and I do want to get into Portia when we talk about her performance, but I want to talk about Brooke Carr first
Yeah.
because I think that we really have to think about what Brooke has been working with. First of all, no
Hmm.
matter what, she always shows up. She's always phenomenal, and that has been consistent since I was in middle school, high school when she was Whitney on Passions. Like she has
Hmm.
always been a phenomenal actress, no matter what she's given.
Hmm.
And GH has not given her enough. And part of what always frustrates me about like what they do, what the writing does to the character of Portia, because it's not just like about the actions. That's one thing, which is why I always say you could like Portia, you could not like Portia. But the show doesn't really give her a lot of motivation.
Hmm.
She's even talked about how like Portia doesn't have a lot of motivation outside of Trina. And so I just want people to know how special I think she is because she's able to like really paint this picture without us hearing a lot of motivation. Like
Hmm.
that's the way she's been able to do her character. And so when you hear people have these negative opinions of Portia, it's never about Brooke's acting because Brooke always shows up and is always acting her behind off. It's always about this lack of motivation and this annoyance because the show has not allowed her to be like a full picture of a character. And so
Hmm.
I just want to give props to Brooke for being able to push through that and always still give amazing performances and elevate the performers around her.
Yeah, shout out to Brooke Kerr. And
Shout out
always
to
looking
Brooker.
amazing.
Period.
Amazing.
Let's get into the week because I was so entertained. I want to talk about it. So let's first talk about Cody, Molly, and Ava. Molly walks in at the horse house on
The horse.
Cody and Ava going in, and she's about to leave. Cody comes out half dressed and spills the beans and was like,
All of it.
I only did this because I'm being paid. Ava being so indignant, like, I didn't pay him. um, and to like he just Christina, you gotta get a refund, baby girl, because this man has messed up the whole plan. How do you feel about him saying the whole plan? How do you feel about Cody and Molly? How do you feel about it all? Like that, just that piece of it before we get into the rest.
Well, I honestly thought that he was going to turn Ava down and actually quit the project.
Hmm.
Um, but when Ava was in the barn talking about Molly, and we were all shocked because we didn't understand why she was talking about Molly like that. Molly didn't do anything to her. But I thought that, because he seemed like, because of what was happening with Maxie, he seemed to want to turn a new leaf, want to be a better person. And then when
Mm-hmm.
Ava comes in and is talking bad about Molly, he kind of was like, whatever, F this, I'm gonna go still be in the plan and was hitting on her. And so I went through a range of, oh, okay, so maybe Cody can be a good person and changing my mind about him because I hate him. And
I
then
do.
he turns back to, messing with Ava again, and then I'm back at hating Cody again. And then
Mm-hmm.
when Molly walks in, I'm like, I was shocked again because he did actually tell her everything. Um, this doesn't necessarily change how I feel about Cody as a character, but I'm glad that the scheme is over at the very least because I didn't like it for Molly. I didn't like it for Ava. I also, just felt like it was a stupid plan on Christina's part, but maybe it wasn't because it was apparently working a little bit.
It was
Um,
working.
so, so um, yeah, I was glad that Molly was able to find out. She hasn't found out everything yet. I'm hoping she
Right.
does because she's going to be livid at a lot of people. So I can't wait for that to happen. Right now, she's in her little Molly land and working on the book or work figuring out whether or not she's in
Mm-hmm.
love with Cody. But when she finds out everything that's been happening, I don't know. So I hope this changes her how she feels about everybody and not just Cody.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
And as far as Ava, I'm glad she now knows too. And Ava responded in a way that is not shocking to any of us. But I'm glad she gets her power back because I don't like her being manipulated. And I think you've said this before.
Yeah.
You don't like her being manipulated by men or being made a fool of by men. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that she's kind of now more aware of what's been happening and kind of in her own way taking her power back. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that Ava is like such a complicated character, and
hmm
because Mora plays her so well, it's
hmm
easy. Like, I think the show has to like thread a needle with her, and
hmm
so you have to have these kind of like foul things happen to her so that when she does do something wild, you're like, well, it is Ava, and you get it and
hmm
you can make the
hmm
connection. So I've called the next piece 9 to 5 Hospital because the hijinks of Ava, Alexis, and Christina having Rick tied up, ball gagged in the mouth in a
hmm
basement is pure. Like, I didn't know which way they were gonna play it. And like there's been all of this like comparison. We've made it on our Instagram, like of Rick keeping Carly in the panic room versus Rick being in the basement.
hmm
And it's such a different tone because like Carly in the
hmm
panic room was like scary and like
Yeah.
sinister versus this is pure comedy. Every one
Yes.
of the scene, everything from when Ava bashed him in the head, and then she just looked like, what was I supposed to do?
I can't let him take my money. Like, what?
Like, obviously, to Alexis coming in and seeing him like, is he dead? Like, no concern. Just no concern to like them putting him in the basement. I love the way they let it hold because like the day they had him tied up and they had the ball gag in his mouth, everybody on social media was like, "Where did this ball gag come from? Like, did Alexis just
Yes,
have this?"
that's
To the next day, her being like, "Yeah, it was the Ava's glove compartment." Like, what? And shout out to Rick Hurst and his face acting because he'll be like, "Are you gonna kill me?" Like the terrified look, like it was just all like. So the tone is like clear that like it like there's not to me it feels clear that there's not nothing to like worry about as far
right.
as like Rick dying, and I like the way they even like tied up the why wouldn't Rick tell, and he's like, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah, because we all got all this dirt on each other."
right. Exactly.
So I don't know. How are you feeling? I laughed the whole story. It's so funny to me.
Oh yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah, you're totally right about the tone. I am not the least bit concerned that Rick is gonna die or that any of them are going to see any kind of jail time because
Right.
it's just like right now, they're all like, it's just shenanigans. And so I just got to
Yes.
see how it's played out. um, because it's just comedy. It's great. And so, yeah, shout out to like I said,
Yeah.
shout out to the ensemble. It's totally great.
I need to know the change in the writer's room that's happened. Because a couple of
Right.
times I want to note like the different, like just like really good writing choices. And
Yeah.
this to me is like all strong actors
Hmm.
with with funny dialogue that could have gone a different way with a different set of actors. Because even if you
Right.
think about, not that I mean obviously like Roger and Moore are strong actors, but if you think about when Ava hit Nicholas over the head, she was freaking out. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like what, it was like a very like scared, like oh panicked situation. And this was like not one panic, but from anybody but Rick.
But it may be not just because of the writers, but because of the characters involved, right? Because
Yeah,
everyone has everyone admires Rick's expertise in the courtroom, but nobody cares about that man at all. Like they're all like side-eyeing him and just, except for Molly.
you're right.
Everyone's just like no one is like that like Alexis said, no one's gonna be looking at where's Rick, you know, except I think there's one person that they're not counting on because they think that Elizabeth is tired of him, but she's not as tired of him as people think. And I think,
Right.
she's now that she knows that Rick and Ava are not seeing each other and she denies saying that she might be interested in dating. I think she's going to wonder why he's not coming around the way that Lucas suggested that he would. And so I think she might end up in this storyline too. So that will be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, it is like, are they gonna pull Carly and Elizabeth into the story, like
Ooh.
given like the history of it? Because
Yeah.
Alexis did bring Carly up. She's like,
Right.
didn't you do this to Carly? Like it, but yeah, so it is gonna be interesting to see how this like plays out. But again, like fingers crossed, I'm not really worried about like knocking on
Right.
wood, all of that. I'm not necessarily worried about Rick. He's like such a delightful, delicious actor.
Yeah.
Um, and I will say that I actually was a little frustrated with him with like the way he was talking to Christina, specifically because it feels like such a redo. Like his issue is not just Christina, it is a proxy for how he feels about Sunny,
Hmm.
you know?
I
And so yeah,
Yeah, almost everything he does is kind of a proxy. Like any animosity he has towards his own family, because Christina is his family. He doesn't even acknowledge that it's because of Sunny. And so I think it would be hilarious just to have like Y&R does this thing where one character gets a point of view for the whole episode. I
mm,
think it would be funny to have Rick be visited by all the enemies of Port Charles while he's in the basement and just
that
be
would be
like,
interesting.
you're getting what you deserve right now. So I think that
Yeah,
would be a funny episode if they need a little break in between. But yeah.
yeah. That would be because I mean he is about to. It feels like Ava got those like sleeping pills from Lucas for
Yeah.
him,
Oh
so
yeah.
it might
He could
be
have
like
a
some nightmare
uh,
sequences and things like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. I also think what I have also liked is the kind of reconnection of Molly and Michael as family,
Hmm.
where she's like going to him, talking to him about Cody. There was something where Rick was like yelling at Christina, and he was like, "You talk about losing a baby. So did Molly. You talk about what happened to Michael, but Molly loves Michael too." And we haven't really seen that play out on screen for a
Hmm.
long time. So like the
Hmm.
the like remembering that relationship and then bringing it back felt really important, and I really enjoyed
Hmm.
that. I love when that whole like Corinthos, like like all that kind of extended family remembers that they're extended family. Like when Rocco
Hmm.
called Jocelyn his Aunt Jocelyn, uh,
Yeah.
Dante calls Jocelyn his sister now. Even when Christina fell out the window, Jocelyn was like, "This is my sister, Christina." Like, I actually really, I talked about Days at the top of it. That's something I like that Days does with like Marlena and John's kids. Like, they're all, you know,
Hmm.
family, and I like that. Um, you have anything else about 9 to 5 Hospital?
I mean, speaking of, I mean, I just have to shout out just the acting chemistry that Rory Gibson has with the actress that plays Molly.
Yeah,
It's
because they're
be
both so
like a lot.
talented.
They're so talented, and everyone was like almost shipping them, which is kind of weird. But it's because they have
Nasty.
such good acting chemistry together. So yeah,
I mean, it's just another Cassadine inappropriate chemistry situation. Because you remember Tyler Christopher and Kelly Monaco had very inappropriate family chemistry as well.
yeah,
Like, calm down, y'all.
yeah,
So yeah, it's another example of
right.
that Cassadine family chemistry.
Hmm.
Because Alexis and Valentine had it too.
Yep.
So um let's get into Black Hospital. Separate from Drew, like let's just talk about like a little bit of Black Hospital. We'll get into the Drew stuff.
Mhm.
Just deciding to be the messiest mess that you could ever see that I loved happening.
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
I am in the extreme minority that likes Isaiah and Portia. I hate the
I know.
idea of Jordan having to be back with Curtis, but I do like Isaiah and Jordan.
I was happy
Or
for
Isaiah
you
and Portia.
on Thursday. I was like, oh, yay, Tracy's get to see the bound chicka round round has finally happened in the hospital.
A mess. A mess. Okay.
In her office too.
With her subordinate. I know that's right. I support Portia's rights and wrongs. But
Right.
we have obviously like all this stuff happening with Stella. We have Portia like trying to help, but obviously we have Curtis calling Jordan because she has these connections. So it was this little messy like mismatch of like, of course he would call
Yeah.
Jordan versus like, okay, but y'all are doing too much. This like Jordan taking his hand, like it's gonna be okay, like all of that. I'm glad that Portia clocked it as like being an emotional affair.
Yeah, definitely. And
Uh,
Isaiah.
and
Yeah.
Isaiah. Isaiah was like,
And
I really liked you, but it was never gonna be us because you wanted to be with him.
And on Stella, even though she was just basically using it to keep Curtis in check, but she knew who he would listen to, and she
Sure
didn't think to
did.
call Portia. So she knew what's up.
She knew too. She knew too. And
Right.
so we have Portia and Curtis, I want to hear what you think about this fight. So they have like she comes in, she says like obviously you want to be with Jordan, and Curtis like lets it slip that he still holds basically back from their first meeting still against her, that he has not let this stuff go, that he holds her lying about Taggart, even like not even just about Trina, but about Taggart being her husband, and
Hmm.
that he essentially only stayed with her, got with her in the first place, and stayed with her because he wanted to be this kind of nuclear family for Trina.
Hmm. He didn't say this, but Portia said it. She clocked it all. I was upset on Wednesday
Hmm.
when not long after they had, made love again, and then Jordan calls him for the stuff. He flashes on her and was like, "This is all your fault." And I'm like, man, what happened to being in love and wanting to, forgive and doing all this stuff, and you immediately flash on her for no reason? I was pissed. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this connection. There's no like, reconciliation as far as I'm concerned, because Curtis was being salty again. And so I was mad at him on Wednesday. And then they had the
Hmm.
fight. And I was just like, dude, you have totally just, acted out against Portia from the very beginning. I didn't like that. I was just like, I'm totally not on Curtis's side on this, definitely on Portia's side. And I was just like, this relationship is over as far as I'm concerned. And I saw a tweet from Port Misery, Tara. Tara said, you're saying that it is Portia's fault when really it's all your fault for
Ooh,
stealing the company from Michael. He's the one that started the whole beef. And even Drew said that when they had that conversation. Like, this is all because of you taking my company away from me. It's not
right.
because Portia did wrong. I mean, all the actions that Drew is doing is because of what Curtis did. So
Hmm.
for Curtis to blame everybody else but himself is totally inappropriate and unfair. And
Hmm.
he needs to recognize that himself instead of blaming everybody else and blaming Portia.
Absolutely.
Um,
I
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad you said all of that because I'm like, yes, I'm affirmed. You're, oh, yes. Because everything you were saying, I'm like, period. Um, for me, it was like particularly just like egregious. I am the kind of person, and I don't say, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I try to, if I say I forgive you, I actually forgive you. And if I don't forgive you, then we're not in relationship.
Right.
Like that's just it. And so the idea, it just burns me on the inside when somebody takes every single thing that you've ever done wrong,
Mm-hmm.
minusing anything they've ever done wrong, and throw it in your
Mm-hmm.
face.
Mm.
That to me was like the ultimate. Like I was glad Portia stood up for herself to be like, I'm actually not taking this anymore. She
Mm-hmm.
has been walking on eggshells, and I really think about Portia and Curtis's marriage the same way I think about Willow and Nina's like mother-daughter relationship, where one is
Mm-hmm.
always walking on eggshells because the other one has all of this power and they know that it's not unconditional. They know I can't make a mistake and like be forgiven, that I actually do. Like you can do whatever and I will figure out a way to forgive you. But
Mm-hmm.
if I do something, then all of a sudden it's over for me. And that's not a
Mm-hmm.
way to be in a marriage.
Mm-mm.
That's not a way to be in any kind of relationship.
Right.
And Curtis just really proved that that's where he was, and that's why I couldn't be on his side. I understand him being mad, I understand him being frustrated, but also the lie of what Portia did. I believe Curtis knew about the Heather stuff. What he
Mm-hmm.
did not know is that she was being blackmailed. So it's
Right.
not as if she was at like some kind of lying fault for the Drew piece of it, as you pointed out. What she's at fault for is not telling him like immediately that she was being blackmailed
Right.
because she thought she was trying to
Yeah.
take care of it herself.
Right.
But
What's
nah,
happening? What's happening to her? What's happening to Stella? What's happening to whoever else Drew decides to focus his anger on is not Portia's fault. It's Curtis's fault. Actually,
right.
it's more Drew's fault, but whatever. Uh,
Right.
yeah. So for him to lay the blame at Portia's feet was definitely inappropriate.
Hmm. So, Portia is just like, this is the other part that makes it tough because he was like, I'm about to leave to go take care of my aunt, which is like
Hmm.
actually kind of valid, right? Like,
Hmm.
it is valid that he would like leave to take care of Stella and not be able to like handle all of this in the moment because there's so much going on. And Portia to me was valid to be like, no, you brought up all of this, you unearthed all this, let's talk about it. Because like what I'm supposed to do,
Hmm.
go back to work after you done told me that you've always hated me, you've been mad at me since you met me. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking
Right.
about?
Yeah.
And so her being like, if you leave, I know our marriage is over. And him not even hesitating and was like,
Not even. Right.
I was like, okay. And so we had been kind of clocking the obvious tension with Isaiah anyway. But him coming in, helping her with the ring off, them sleeping together in the office, I loved it. I thought it was I thought it was extremely trifling. I thought it was extremely like messy, very soapy, and they really gave Portia, for me, part of what never stuck with the paternity reveal for Trina was that we never got a real point of view from Portia of why she did it. Because if you remember, I
Mhm.
feel like Brooke was really trying to like not tell that story until they made her tell that story. Because we
Mhm.
didn't, I mean, like we as an audience who watched soaps, when we found out they knew each other, we found out the timeline, we were like, oh yeah, he probably been a daddy. Or at least that like can come up as like a storyline. I don't feel like Brooke played it that way. It wasn't like the guilt or whatever that you would feel if that was happening. And so
Mhm.
even with her decision to marry him, it was like, okay, so you marrying him, you got this like big secret, like, huh? So she never to me got a I keep saying point of view, but I guess I mean motivation. We never heard her motivation for why she did these things. And so this is one of the first times outside of Trina that we've seen her have motivation. So like she did this with Isaiah because she wanted to, because Isaiah's fine, and because she was over her marriage and she was hurt. And to
Mhm.
me, that's like an actual character arc for Portia that I can appreciate.
I just, I was just happy for you. I didn't really think it too much about it. I was like, okay, they're gonna have the love scene. All right, yay. Tracy got it. So, yeah, I am like, I'm just glad, I'm happy for you, and I'm happy for Portia for being able to, have something be about her not having to. Well, I mean, obviously she's going to worry about the consequences, but it was her decision. It was made about by her, about her, and not because of anyone else. So,
Hmm.
happy that she gets to take back her life and not
Hmm.
live, on tippy toes. On the one hand, I'm still thinking that whether or not she's going to turn herself in, it
Hmm.
may or may not be necessary because Drew may be end up dead lately. So I don't know.
Well,
So,
why
but
turn him in? You're
why
gone.
does she? Yeah, she doesn't have to turn herself in. It's over. You know, you know. So,
Yeah, I mean, so I have two questions for you about this. One is, what did you think about her decision to tell Trina everything?
okay, so I had an immediate reaction to her, and maybe because of the editing or whatever, to her saying when Trina, she said she decided to tell Trina everything, and Trina's like, "What's going on?" And then Portia was like, "As in everything, it all comes down to you." I was like, don't put this on Trina. Stop it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Again, I'm just like, you made the decision to do this, and don't blame Trina for it. And even Trina thought, oh, so all of this is my fault? Like, what did I
Hmm.
do? you know, she
Hmm.
needed to like, Portia also needs to come to terms that she makes decisions on her own, whether
Hmm.
she's doing it to protect or whatever, it's still on her. And she did
Yeah,
explain that later, but to start off with it's all about you is unfair guilt to put on a child. Parents do a
yeah.
lot of things. They make a lot of decisions for kids, and that's not fair to the kid.
Right.
Um, so
Agreed.
that's what I thought at first, but then after that, I was glad that Trina finally knows, and so she's not like wondering what the hell is going on. And I
Right.
thought it was a good conversation, at the very least. Now I keep thinking about, so Tara had put together this tiered
Yes.
diagram of
Yeah.
who's activated and who's not activated. And so immediately I started thinking, oh, so now Trina is going to be seriously activated now, even though I think she was always on the activated level, but she's now going to be on the top row of the
Right.
activated.
Hmm.
So that's what I kept thinking. Oh, Trina's activated, and
Yeah.
and we'll talk about it later. I'm pretty sure her Kai is now activated too. So
Yeah. We'll definitely get into that. We'll
yeah,
definitely get into that. One of
yeah,
the things I think I like about Trina knowing is that this really felt like a cross into her mom treating her like an adult. Because some
right.
of the biggest issues that they've had with like writing anything for Trina is that Trina is always treated with kid gloves. So
Hmm.
now with like the Jocelyn story and the spy stuff, fair because even Carly doesn't know. So I'm not saying this is the value judgment on Joss. I'm saying
Right.
that like there is a barrier between the friendship with Trina and Joss because Joss is not able to be honest with her. And
Hmm.
that's always been a barrier for them because this mob stuff, Joss has never brought Trina into the mob stuff either.
Hmm.
And so it kind of like kept her almost like kid gloves because she couldn't know. And then her family treated her the same way. And so now this almost felt like, okay, now we finally got Trina into an adult storyline that she
Hmm.
is not being treated like a child. She is an active participant in, and she's able to like be a driver of the story and not like a central character within that people are doing story around.
Hmm.
So
And
that's how I
it was,
felt about it.
yeah, it was interesting because even Portia said that to Isaiah, like when Isaiah comes back in the office and she's like, yeah, I told Trina everything. She's an adult, so I had to tell. And I was like,
Hmm.
finally
Hmm.
somebody's treating your daughter like an adult. Like even Curtis was like, we can't tell Trina because Trina will just be all upset and feel guilty. I'm like, how do you know? She's an adult. She can handle her emotions.
Right. Right.
So yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm glad that she now knows because of that aspect.
And then my other question is, okay, so they have always acted like they can only have one black family, right? Like
Mm,
that it's the Ashfords, they made the decision to have the Ashfords over like having Sean there. They really just tried to pretend like that's the only thing they can do. But if
mm-hmm,
Curtis and Portia get divorced,
mm.
then we have to figure out something else for Portia. What would you feel about Portia finding out that she is a ward?
Ooh. Has that been brought up in conversation or did you just think about it?
No, it's just something
Okay.
I thought about.
Oh. That'll be interesting. Yeah, to give her more roots into the community. I think that would be, compelling. Um,
Hmm.
and then even Trina. Oh my God, Trina would also have that same rootage into the community, which when she lost Taggart as a dad. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of that for her because it would also be like she would be a quarter, or they could be like related to the Quartermains as well.
Right. Yeah.
And you can bring that kind of family back.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, so that's what I think. I mean, I don't, this is just all speculation, all like things I would love to see happen.
I just had
Um,
a thought too with
mm,
Vicky Buchanan. Hopefully, if maybe it's Vicky Buchanan that's coming back
no,
to
they said it's gonna be
town.
Monica's sister. Well, that's the
Oh,
rumor.
that's right. Yeah. But I was just thinking it would bring more, it could possibly bring in more family ties for Isaiah because Isaiah is Gannon. And if Buchanan came back, then maybe a Gannon would come too. That would be, have more roots for Isaiah. Right now, he's just floating biracial doctor, handsome biracial doctor.
Handsome
You
biracial doctor.
notice how we're incorporating a lot of Port Misery's terms into our conversation?
Exactly, exactly. And
uh,
because I talk to her so much, like I'm also like, it's hard for me because I'm like, no. That's why I don't listen to her before we record because I'm like,
oh,
no, I have to like come in
no.
clean.
I listen to her after because it's like comedy because she'll bring in
Yes,
more insights. But yeah, it's
absolutely.
hard not to take on her language and bring it into here because
Yeah,
it's funny.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially the nicknames.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I want to call this the who is going to shoot Drew segment. So this is a lot of different storylines. And I will say this is like another time I want to talk about the writing, which is that things are like so purposefully put together. And
Uh-huh.
so I remember it would be like there used to be stories that would be all over the place. It would take so long, but like these stories are so centered and focused. I liked that.
Yeah.
So let's continue Black Hospital. So
Mhm.
obviously Drew got Stella locked up on this insurance claim. I love Stella being such a black auntie. I don't need a lawyer. Lawyers are for the guilty. Like, Stella, you are a professional. Get you a lawyer, girl.
It's like nothing's gonna happen. I'm not going to jail. Whatever. They're not gonna throw me in jail of all people. Yes, they
Me?
will. The
Yeah,
court don't care. The
does
court
not
does
care.
not care.
Does not
It's
care.
just- uh,
So you have now I knew that once Kai found out about Stella, it would activate him, if you will. My
mhm,
problem is tough for me because it feels to me to be too little too late.
mhm,
This should not have had to happen for you to have understood where these people were coming from.
mhm.
He's like, Drew's a monster. What did you think he was when you found out he took his nephew's wife?
He was all yeah, he was just always the benefactor, his benefactor. It
Mm-hmm.
really didn't matter like I guess it didn't matter that he cheated or he took someone's wife. It didn't matter, whatever rumors that were being told because it didn't necessarily affect him. And I guess when we were like, for me, I always thought that he was betraying the black family of the show. He was
Mm-hmm.
betraying cousins. He was betraying the culture. And so Drew, of all the crimes that Drew did, it never seemed from Kai's perspective that he was doing anything to black community. He was doing shenanigans with the mother folks, right? It had nothing to do with him per se. And then so
Mm-hmm.
when he overheard Curtis and Portia wanting to attack him, he was like, "Why? Drew never does anything to us. He's not a bad man. He's actually helped me." You know,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that white savior syndrome that some of us feel when some white person actually pays special attention to us. We are thinking,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
he's a good one. He's a good one. Let's not attack him, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
finally, when he gets hit to actually, he's not good for our community either. He's actually attacking Stella. That's when it was enough for him. That's what I'm thinking in Kai's mind. I don't agree with him whatsoever. He should have
You're
been
so
hip to
kind.
it. And he should have been hip to it from the beginning. But in my mind, that's what I'm thinking that's he's all about. It still does not help that we don't know what kind of home training he got. We do not know, like, if his parents were like, you need to beware of these kind of white people and be okay with these kind of white people. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know if he got any of that growing up. He's just, he's just been dropped onto the canvas. We don't know about his home life. We don't know nothing. And so I
Right.
am still kind of trying to imagine something and give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. I need his parents to come up in here so we can actually see if what he knows about our culture and how we're supposed to act with one another and how he's supposed to navigate life. I don't know that. So I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. He might not have a lot of training in that aspect.
I'm not giving that, but I hear what you're saying. But
Hmm.
like my thing is part of what makes it frustrating for me is that
Right.
one, this is like clearly like to try to like turn him around and like have him be like some kind of hero for Trina,
Right.
or whatever, like redeem him for Trina. And for me, it's still too little, too late. You're
Yeah.
untrustworthy.
Right.
Um, the other piece is that he's not like what he did to Stella is not different than what he did to Curtis and Portia. Stella was
Right.
wrong. I'm not saying that Drew should have turned her in. I'm not, but what she did was actually factually incorrect and like wrong according to the law.
Right.
Me, fudge all them numbers, get the money. But
Right.
how is what Drew did to Stella any different than like what you thought he was about to do to Portia and to Curtis? They have told you, mind your business. Like you have met these people. They are not the kind of people who would just set Drew up for like shits and giggles. Like they're just not the kind of people who would do that. And you know that because they've been so kind to you. So instead of trying to figure out what this was about, you instantly went and sided with Drew. Instantly went and sided with Drew. And then even at Willow's wedding, we didn't see Kai have a moment where he second guessed things.
Hmm.
that okay, fine, maybe you fell in love with Willow, maybe this happened, that happened, whatever, but you get to the wedding and you see what goes down, and never did you once say, "Dang, this is messed up." You like,
Yeah, dang.
do you need a ride home?
Right.
So this to me is like, why is Stella the turning point? And if it was Stella the turning point, then why wasn't it Trina?
Right.
So, I mean, we'll see. I am happy he's getting off from under the Drew Colt and up under his thumb, but that doesn't make me like him for Trina anymore. That they'll have to do a lot more, and I'm not sure what that more would be.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, now we got, as you said, Stella, and Kai and Trina knowing the truth. And now Martin went to Tracy and was like, "This is what's happening." Tracy, of course, also dragged Martin, but
Yeah.
it's gonna
They were dragging each other. But
so
yeah,
funny.
it was still funny. I thought there might have been a moment where they might have partnered together to bring Drew down, but no, they're still sniping at each other, which is fine
Right,
because I like it.
right,
So it's all good.
right,
Yeah.
right. So yeah, we have that happening, and then but so Tracy's gonna use her position at the hospital to like figure out whatever is going on. And then what else do we have? Who else do we have? Oh, we have him serving Alexis papers, and you alluded to this, but
Hmm.
then Natasha jumped out.
Jumped out.
Here's why Drew was so trifling that he bought Alexis there to watch her get served with these papers.
Yeah. Trifling.
Drew. And when he was just like sitting there at the table, it was wild. He was like,
Yeah.
"And you're a drunk, and if you won't see Scout until she's 18, and that's even if you're alive."
Live. Right.
That's
Oh, like jaw drop. Like he did not mince words against anybody this week.
no. And then Alexis with her clap back.
Uh,
Oh my God. Like, how powerful is it to say, "I'm gonna tell your daughter you were a good man, so she won't
right.
not know." Like that to me was so key. Like I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna disparage you to your daughter because I personally don't want to hurt your daughter. I'm gonna tell her that you were a good man because you won't be around to tell her any
Yeah.
different.
Ooh.
Molly's sitting there like as the ADA, like, so I was like, oh my God, Alexis. Yeah, Drew, you gotta go, buddy. That was
Yeah.
because the other thing I think is that even when you talk about like the worst of characters on this show, their kids ground them. So you
Yeah.
think about even a Valentine, like you never when he was the height of his like mobster slash
Hmm.
like terrorist shenanigans, you knew he loved Charlotte
Hmm. Hmm.
and he was trying to make the best decisions for Charlotte. Drew is not making the best decisions for Scout. He is being selfish and out of pocket for Scout. I don't know. This feels nasty. And then you have, I want to know how you feel about the confrontation he had with Danny and Rocco.
He was so out of pocket to Rocco. Like he was just like, well, Danny is a half brother, but you're nobody. I'm like, I wanted to say the word that we say in our to each other, but you can't say in public.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, no, he didn't. So he's not above being rude to adults or children. He's or teens.
Well, he
He's
called
like
them like delinquents.
delinquents. Yeah, the delinquents. But to say it to the teen, say it to
Hmm.
Rocco to his face, you are nothing, that is hurtful. That is
That was
mean
disgusting.
and disgusting. And I should have
Hmm.
known he wouldn't be above that because he wasn't above manipulating Wiley for his own
Well,
ends.
that's true.
At least
Hmm.
he didn't say Wiley is nothing, but he said to Wiley, your dad doesn't care about you.
Right, right,
That is like, wow.
right. I
Right.
mean,
Ugh.
even the half brother dig.
Yeah.
Well, you're half and you're
You're
nothing. And this comes from Drew, who ended up getting close to Franco because of how they were raised.
right.
Like just know like nothing of the old man that he used to be.
Mm-mm.
Um, he goes, obviously, we have East African warlord's son, um, Marco, see him like talking to Nina, who's also active, and he tells him about the judge against
Hmm.
his father's wishes, of course. And now Drew is going around trying to threaten everybody. He goes to see Michael. I appreciated that both Michael and Carly was like, "You ain't really got nothing because if you had it, you wouldn't be here trying to like compromise with us."
It definitely they said it shows your desperation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So the Michael confrontation was what it was, but Michael was like, "Because of your behavior, I'm gonna try to get this visitation hearing pulled indefinitely."
Yep. Yep.
Whew.
It's crazy. So for me this week, in terms of who's going to kill Drew, I was actually trying to keep a record how many
Hmm.
people who had told Drew or who told Drew or said the words, "I will kill you myself." So I have
Yes,
a tabulation.
yes. Give us the
Alex
list.
Alexis said it to him, "I will
Hmm.
kill you myself" before something like that happened.
Right.
Curtis Curtis said to him, "I will
Hmm.
kill you myself before Stella goes to jail."
Hmm.
Michael says it to him, "I'll
Hmm.
kill you myself before Willow gets full custody or whatever."
Hmm.
Carly said it to him, "I
Hmm.
will kill you myself if you
I
threaten
don't
my
need
son."
Jason. I don't
No,
need Jason.
I don't
I
need
will kill you.
Jason. I will kill you myself. Oh, and then I didn't even add Jason because Jason has said this several times before he even left town. But this week, so I need to add him to the list. Literally
Hmm.
said it to him, "I will kill you myself if you
Hmm.
threaten my son." So there's
Hmm.
like at least five people that told Drew that they will kill him. There's two others who have said that he needs to go. Sonny has said it to several people.
Hmm.
He didn't say it was going to be him. He's just said he needs to get taken care of.
Hmm.
But Sidwell had said it to Marco that we need to
Hmm.
take care of Drew. So even though there's people who are activated as in Tara's list, these are people who literally said that they would kill Drew. I think Nina said it
Nina
too.
said it.
She,
Nina's the one you're missing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will kill you myself.
Hmm.
So
So
yeah,
Nina walked up on, so this is before he even talked to Marco. Nina walked
uh-huh,
up on Drew and Willow talking,
uh-huh,
and she said what she should have said. Girl, what are you doing? Get away from this man.
right,
And Willow, this is her behavior this week was wild because I think we should add her to the list too.
yeah. Well,
But
she never said she would kill Drew.
she didn't say no, she didn't, but
Yeah,
like she's active. But
right.
so she said, you know, she was like, Drew said that you blackmailed him into not telling me. And Nina told her that was a lie. And she was like, well, maybe it is, but it's still your fault. Willow blaming Nina for this and not herself and not Drew is wild.
He's he's totally off of it. But at the same time, what I found fascinating about her conversation with Elizabeth is that
Hmm.
she says, "I know who Drew is," and that he's willing to go the lengths that he's gone to in order to give me my children. that means he's my only choice. So she's admitting that she doesn't care that he's an evil bastard.
No, no, she
He's
doesn't.
he's a he's an evil bastard for her, and so that's why she needs to be with him. That
Right.
is so
That's wild. But I think
wild.
that both of these things are so with with Elizabeth, there was like some weird twisted logic.
Yeah,
With Nina,
definitely.
it was basically like it doesn't matter what you like, it actually does matter.
Hmm.
And I don't know why she would think Nina does have power. Drew went to Nina to help him get elected.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the people behind the scenes who are rich, powerful, and connected have just as much, if not more power than electeds have. So it's just
Hmm.
bizarre that be like the person who helped Drew get elected doesn't feel like to Willow that she has as much power that Drew does. When actually, if you go to court, having Nina behind you and helping you would make you look better because every single thing that this judge laid out for you as a reason that you don't have your children was something that Drew told you to do. Everything, one
Hmm.
by one, everything was something Drew told you to do. And most of it was either stuff that Nina told you not to do or stuff that Nina didn't even know about.
What's even wilder to me is that she doesn't think that the power that Michael has with Sunny as a proxy wouldn't trump what Drew has. Because
Yeah,
at the end of the day, Drew can disappear and then she would have nothing. She
right.
hasn't she hasn't pissed Sunny off enough and will or Drew hasn't yet to activate Sunny. Sunny's been talking about it, but he ain't truly activated yet.
Hmm.
If she should know if everybody in the world thinks Sunny is some really horrible person, then why don't you believe that at the end of the day, Michael will always come out on top?
Right,
So
right.
why aren't you doing whatever you can to kiss his ass? You should be. And not
Hmm.
believe that Drew, a congressman come lately, can actually have any kind of power.
Right.
It's crazy.
And and so you have this like situation where so let's talk about the conversation she had with Elizabeth. Because I
Mhm.
really feel like Elizabeth was like the voice of the audience. The voice
Yeah.
of girl, what?
Nina was to an extent too. Like Nina was it.
Yeah.
Like everybody, I was like, what the hell are you
Yes, Nina was
doing?
definitely that, but there was definitely like just like the conversation. She was like, so when Willow told Elizabeth about the situation with like Drew calling ahead in Germany and keeping her from Michael, and she's like, that just proves he's powerful. That proves that. And Elizabeth was like, that probably wasn't even all that expensive.
It really wasn't.
And that also, it's like not a proof of his power. Like it was just like everything that Elizabeth said back to Willow was like just like the things that we would scream at her and be like, girl, what are you talking about? So it was like the thing that I screamed at the TV saying to Willow, Elizabeth was like flabbergasted. Like, girl,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? And I thought that was really important to have. To like
Mm,
at least because you do need somebody on the show, and this is what GH has been missing, that they are doing
mm,
better now, is somebody to like name when something is absurd.
mhm.
Is to be like, no, 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 no. This is not right. You sound ridiculous. And at least Elizabeth didn't like back down to how she sounded.
Right. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, anybody could have called Switzerland and been like, "Hey,
Yeah.
can I cash app you $50 to tell
Catch
this
up.
girl so tell this girl that she can't come and visit Michael." And everybody was like, "Sure,"
Yeah.
it could
Yeah.
have been anybody.
Yeah.
It did not take like she acted like calling overseas was like the biggest accomplishment of the world.
Right. It wasn't about power. It was about
Right.
like the ability and the willingness to be extremely
Uh,
trifling.
right. The gall just to do it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it just, yeah. I don't know. I don't know why that she like was just in this place where she was like that. This is the most power anybody could ever have. But yeah,
It's not.
uh, Liz was like, "Girl, absolutely not." Um, and then we talked about this a little bit, but I loved Martin and Laura being like, "We ain't seen nothing." When Alexis was threatening,
Friends. I don't know what you're
I
talking
don't
about.
know about that.
Same as when Michael punched her. Nobody, if he's doing stuff in that restaurant or at Carly's, ain't nobody seeing nothing.
Ain't nobody seen
He's
nothing.
minding their own
And
business.
what? Wait, what happened? I didn't even know you was here.
Right. I think that's
So
all of
good.
Port Charles. I think that's what we talked about last week. I think Port Charles is so tired of Drew's shenanigans that ain't
Hmm.
nobody paying attention to anything that's happening to him. The way that no
No.
one cares where Rick is. Just like,
Oh, poor Rick. But I also, okay, let's go back to him going to Carly's office. So Kai knew that Drew was trifling and still told him where Carly was. I ain't like that.
right. You had a
I
clue that something was wrong with this man, and you're
and he been
willing to go
harassing
ahead
the world.
and you're gonna let him know Carly's location. But then his immediate thought was, I need to get him out of the office so I can do my own investigation, I guess. But don't sick
Maybe.
Drew on people.
You know you about to sick Drew on Jocelyn's mom? No, Kai. This is also why I'm looking at you. But so he goes to Carly's office, which is like, why is it hard to know she'd be at her office in the middle of the workday?
Right.
And I loved, so going to Carly's office, I just love me some Rocco and Danny. Because Carly is like, you did a good job and you're invited back. And if you get trained, you can be lifeguards. They're like, so do lifeguards get tips? Danny, why are you acting like you poor? You're a quarter
Right.
maid. Be quiet.
Ah,
They're like, this is a bind. It's
right.
like just the funniest
You
too.
have
Like
your
I
own,
love them.
like, Danny, you have your own trust and stock in quartermates. Why are you acting like you ain't got no money?
Oh my goodness, I love them so much together. And so I also just love my little J-Sam baby and all his triflingness. He's like, yeah, I don't know want my dad to come back because I haven't been served. And so therefore, like,
Yeah,
Danny, are
I
you a lawyer?
when he said that, he's like, "Yeah, I don't want Jason to come back." I was thinking he didn't want Jason to come back because he thought he would murder Drew. No, he
Right.
was like,
No.
he was playing game. He was like, "So I can't be served, so I can still see Scout."
Let's go. So funny. And then and Carly just being disgusted at the whole thing. Um, I was surprised that she didn't say she would call Diane for them. I was like waiting for her to say that.
Right.
Um, and then when Drew comes in and like talking crazy, and he like Danny is like, I'm not leaving you with him. I said, I know that's
Right.
right, J Sam baby. You better say you're not leaving Carly. You better say you're not leaving Carly with that man.
Protective.
Loved protective. That's my kid. I love him. And so then they're like walking and they still and Danny still being trifling. He was
Yeah.
he tried,
Like,
and
let's
Rocco's like, are you sure that your dad said this? And then Danny said something else. He was like, Rocco was like, so about that permission. About that permission.
whatever. Whatever. And let's go and see Scout. Sir. And then
He's like, I
after
was just
Rocco,
kidding.
and then after Rocco was like, "No, we can't go do it," he's like, "Fine, but we're definitely TP in his house."
And then Ricky was like, I was just kidding.
Kidding?
You weren't. You
Right.
weren't kidding, babes. You weren't.
I would have been
And
like,
so
"Yes, go TP his house. Yes, do that."
so funny. And so yeah, I think it's hilarious, the two of them. And then they find the body.
Right.
I'm like, only these two kids will do that. They are just jokes. I mean, I love that they have like continued to let them be brothers. I love that they continue to have the bond that they have. I love
Mhm.
some chosen family. So that's like they're just my favorites.
Yeah.
So We got a lot of people who might shoot Drew. A lot of
Mhm.
options.
Lots of
Um,
options.
let's get
Don't have
into oh,
don't have Drew piss Donna off because then that's it.
right, 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 exactly. Exactly.
She'll be like,
Um,
Drew did not tie my shoe when I asked him to.
right. Where Avery at? She do got like two murdering parents, so
Right? Right.
you know. We also have, let's talk about Maxie's coma. I will say that I think that this like really shows how central Maxie is to to the show and how much it was like wild that we didn't see more of her. I appreciated them having Lulu and Brooklyn come together. I feel like it was so good because it's easy. It would be easy to like have them like hugging and doing this and doing that, so it wasn't over the top, but it was
Mhm.
like very respectful of Maxie, which I thought was really good.
Yeah. The only thing that shocked me was for some reason, they were like, yeah, she's just being transferred to Mass General. It's not that far away. And then I realized that they were talking about Massachusetts General. I was like, Massachusetts is far from New York. What are you talking about? So
Maybe
like,
not for the rich people or something.
I'm like, that's like 5 or 6 states away. What are you like? It's not.
Hmm.
He's like, it's not that far. I'm like, yeah, it is. Stop lying to that
Hmm.
child. And, yeah, and they're not Quartermain wealthy. So for them to say that, it's like crazy to me.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah,
Um,
it was nice that they all came together for
yeah.
Maxie.
Yeah.
Um, she she goes to move into Tennessee.
Right. I also thought it was like, we had the reminder that Spinelli wasn't her husband and not her next of kin. Um,
Right. Oh,
I
that's right.
we got to see like how like clearly this is gonna bring like James and Cody closer together because James and Spinelli are close, but if you notice the way they were like standing, James was like
Hmm.
with Cody while Georgie was with Spinelli. So I'm
Finally,
like,
yeah.
dang, is Spinelli now like a single father of three? My
It also made me wonder, like, if Spinelli, like, is like for me, thoughts were like possible storylines where, like, Spinelli thinking that Maxie's never going to wake up and he actually takes Georgie away, or if there's going to be some sort of custody battle for James and, all
God.
kinds of stuff. So, um, yeah, there's a lot of story that can happen with Maxie being away and what to do with the kids and how
Yeah,
that's going to shake out.
I hope that I mean, first of all, we're already fighting over Wiley and Amelia. I don't want to have another custody battle over some kids, to be fully honest. I
Right.
just hope that like they just make it work. I mean, most of this happens, most of like the Spinelli, Maxie, all that happens off screen anyway. So I'm hoping
Hmm.
that we just have off screen them talking about how they're supporting them, everybody staying in the house, keeping it normal for the kids, and that Mac and Felicia are supporting and Cody is
Hmm.
supporting. That's what I'm just hoping. Because also, Cody's on recurring, or like that actor's on recurring. And then obviously Bradford's not on contract. So I would hate for
Yeah.
them to like be brought in to like do some kind of custody thing.
Well, that's the reason why I was thinking that is like if Ryan Peavy comes back and he's coming back as Nathan, then that's when
Mm,
all of that can come into play where he's like, Maxie's gone. I want to get to know my son. But the conflict, the possible conflict with all of that coming into play with three dudes in Maxie's life wanting to take control over the kids. The same way that's happening with Sam.
mm-hmm,
Whew.
mm-hmm,
Craziness. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Um, then we have, do I have anything else about the coma? Oh, I was gonna say, I also think it's like crazy. I know, like, if I'm Lulu and her family, I'm like, so Lucas, you knew somebody at a coma center, and you weren't hooking me up. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Um, and then, oh, the other thing I forgot to say, this is part of like the custody battle. Chase. come to the front. Pack your things, get out of Monica's house.
Oof.
Enough with the capping for Willow. Enough. You going to you, Mr. Law and Order, Mr. Da, 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 da. You're going to the judge and like talking and doing all this stuff to like help Willow get her kids back, and you don't understand. Like you haven't talked to Michael about his concerns. You don't care about the like
Right.
you are not their father.
Mm-mm-mm.
That is not you. And I know that they also had Brooklyn talking about like giving like I don't believe for 1 minute like it is fake if they try to have Brooklyn siding with Willow
Oh no, it's
because
it's definitely gonna be a conflict. Like I was just thinking when Willow finds out what he's done, or when Brooklyn finds out what he's done for Willow, she's not gonna be happy. So that's gonna
well
be, yeah.
she did Brooklyn did say to Michael that she needs to like let Willow see the kids. So she has been like team like y'all should have like this joint custody, and I think if they or whatever it is, and I think they're gonna lean into her like being a mom who didn't raise her kid or whatever to like have that be the thing. But I'm not a fan of it. And it's just not true to who Brooklyn is. Brooklyn has always rode for Michael, and Michael has always rode for Brooklyn. If you remember when
Right.
Dante was coming sideways at Brooklyn, Dante is Michael's brother, and Dante and Michael said, no, you're not talking to her like that. I won't be leaving her. No. And
Right.
so to have Brooklyn not stand 10 toes behind Michael and just like understand because Michael has never been petty. That not never, he
Never.
has been in the past, but with these kids, he's never been that.
Hmm.
The moment that she was like, he's always tried to be like open with her. He's always tried to do all the things. Willow is the one who didn't want to do that. Even now
Hmm.
with Drew running around, first he was like joint custody. Now he like, oh, you can see him see the kids on weekends. Willow is the one with Drew who wanted to like take some sort of control from Michael.
Hmm.
So to
Yeah,
have
they.
Chase not care, not be a parent, not care, not respect Michael's wishes, and stay out of it. First, Monica wouldn't like that because you know Michael's her favorite. Pack your things
Hmm.
and you go
And be
live with
on your
Elizabeth
way.
too. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. Get out.
Right.
Enough.
Yeah.
Enough. Um, all things Sidwell. So Sidwell is using Maxie's coma to like get like full like whatever stocks or whatever in Deception. And in this on-screen universe, they basically because Maxie fell out while she was on Home and Heart using the cream, they had Erica Kane using that as like a way off-screen Erica Kane using that as a way to like say deception or to say deception is deadly and that people should be using enchantment. Yikes.
Right.
But it did feel like I mean we assumed but we did get confirmation that it was Sidwell who was behind the whole thing with Maxie.
Hmm. Yeah.
um we also have Marco jumping the gun um to like tell business, and Sidwell was so mad.
He actually raised his voice. He
Yeah,
hadn't done that since the kidnapping.
right.
Like, yeah, because
Yeah.
he's been smooth and cool and calm. And
Hmm.
now he's like yelling. That's crazy.
Like, bro, you don't know how to mob, actually. You're too
Actually, for real.
emotional. Sidwell was like,
Exactly.
that's not what we doing. And so I appreciated Sidwell like laying out the options. But we did
Hmm.
not see if Marco was okay with the murder. Because Sidwell was like, either the judge, like the best case scenario is the judge like basically like tells on us, whatever, whatever. He was like, that's the best case. And he was like, the worst case is that Sonny gets there first and figures out whatever, whatever, and then he comes to like get us again. And
Yeah.
so obviously that means they had to get rid of this judge. So I'm just curious because I know that Marco was like upset and he's ready to go far. If Marco knew about this and will be okay with this.
Mm, nope.
So we shall see with that. And as you said, he also was looking at Drew real sideways because I know East African Warlord is like, I got an emotional Drew, I got an emotional son, and all I'm trying to do is mob in peace.
Ooh.
Um, I did. How did you like? I really liked the scenes between Marco and Gio. They were like unexpected to me. Like, and it felt like that's random. But then they bonded over like the deaths of their mother. How did you feel about that scene?
Yeah, I thought it was actually kind of interesting because it was a little random at the same time. But and I thought it was going to be like even a friendly kind of relationship until Gio brings up, well, my granddad didn't do this to your mom. So
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
Marco's wall was just like immediately down. But I thought it was
Hmm.
like a cool little interesting segue uh, to have them interact with one another. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping that Marco doesn't see Gio as another avenue of attack in the future because he's
Yeah.
great. I think he's definitely leaned into the mob behavior wrong, not thinking, but he's leaning into it. He's thinking nothing but revenge right now. And
Hmm.
that's crazy.
It also like just for me is like because like a lot of these decisions have been off screen, so we don't
Hmm.
know what Marco knows, what he believes, what he thinks his
Hmm.
dad has been a part of. Like we don't actually know. And so
Hmm.
all I'm thinking about is Lucas and how Lucas keeps getting like essentially used by people or like put in the middle of by people who he has like essentially chosen over Carly.
Hmm.
So he had all this beef with Sonny and Carly, particularly Sonny, and now the person who put your like one of your best cousins, Maxie, in a coma was Marco's dad, and he was maybe part of it, maybe not.
Hmm.
And then you doing all this like capping for Ava when Ava is basically using your prescription pad to like, like have to like drug up Rick. So you have Lucas like really making these decisions to like align himself with people who are like either using him or who don't have care for him because he even loves Wiley and I mean I don't know about his relation with Amelia, but he definitely loves Wiley and their plan puts Wiley back with an unstable mother.
Hmm. Yep.
So
Ooh,
interesting to me. Um,
yeah.
I will say, and we're almost done. I will say I really did enjoy all of Gio's stuff this week. I like Gio when he's emotional and is
Hmm.
not having to be like completely angry. I liked when we saw a little bit of his walls coming down with Brooklyn. And I think they did a really good job of they're really amazing acting, made me care about like off-screen, never seen Camilla.
Ah,
I just felt
right.
like it was really, really good. And I was happy to see them be able to have those scenes. How did you feel about it?
I loved it. And I loved the stories that they shared. They
Hmm.
seemed really real. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
And I like
yeah,
that they leaned into both Dante and Brooklyn leaned into Camilla being his parent. Like
yeah,
they're like, she is your mom. She loved you. You loved each other. We could see that. We respect it. We actually appreciate it. And so that makes him feel better, I think, to
yeah,
actually cherish the parent that he grew up with and not feel disconnected from them. And I think that was
yeah.
such a great move. And it was definitely a great move of Brooklyn to tell Dante, you need to go and talk with Gio. And
Hmm.
instead of her selfishly hanging on to those moments, she knew what her son needed, even though she's not saying I have any right to have these feelings, but I knew what is happening, and I know that I need to have Dante come and talk to him. And that was,
Right.
they're already showing that they're going to be great parents
Mhm.
to Gio. So I love those. Loved it.
Yeah, I really, really loved it. I think to your point, like them respecting Camilla as his mother,
Hmm.
just was like really beautiful when she talked to him about like wanting to make sure that he was like loved and knowing that he like that was like her biggest thing and like knowing that
Hmm.
happened. I thought, just like Amanda as an actress can like really just draw you in with her eyes and her like emotion and like really put you into a story. And so
Hmm.
I just feel really lucky to like have her be like our Brooklyn and be so talented. And then Dante, to your point about the story, I teared up when he was talking, when he was like,
Hmm.
you were the first baby I ever held, and like like really like dropping you in
Hmm.
again, really good writing, dropping you
Hmm.
into this scene of like chaos and like family, and then him holding the baby. And so him being like, we've had this connection since you were little. And then saying, and then your mom walked in and y'all only had eyes for each other. And like talking about the love. And like that was his answer to whether or not he was mad at Camilla, being
Hmm.
basically like, y'all loved each other so much, even if I wanted to be mad, I couldn't. And I
Hmm.
just think that that was like to your point, everything's to your point, like how beautiful that was for Geo to hear.
Yeah.
So they just really provided, and that's why I really loved GH this week because you had the funny with the 9 to 5 hospital, you had the like trifling with like how Drew was moving around, the steamy with Black Hospital, and then like the
Hmm.
really grounded emotional moments with them in this.
Hmm.
And Amanda has just really been doing like Emmy worthy work, and I do
Hmm.
hope that she gets like
Recognized. Yeah.
recognized for that. Yeah.
Yep.
The last one we didn't have a whole lot of it, but beginning of the week and then the end of the week, so like very bookend with Spy Hospital. So we do have Jason and Britt kind of running into each other. Britt obviously like jealous about this other woman, and she runs upon Jason, not knowing that he was like playing this woman.
Hmm.
Um, Jason gives Britt a flip phone to call him if she needs anything. I love when she's like, it's just a phone. It's not a like to herself, like it's not a phone. It's not like a dedication of love or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and we didn't really see any of that. We saw Vaughn and Jocelyn get kind of caught. It felt like Jocelyn like folded immediately. But we don't really know what's going on with that. But we did end the week with Britt finding Joss and Vaughn and then kind of running away. My assumption is she's running back to her flip phone, but who knows?
Yeah, that whole scene where it's Vaughn and he's like game set match and she's like, yeah, game set match. I was like, what? So it makes me think that this is all kind of some part of some plan. I don't know. But I thought it was funny that yeah, that Brett walks in and finds them and then runs away. Like,
Yeah,
girl, so much
yeah,
for the I'm gonna help Joss because Joss is my buddy.
mhm.
No. Or maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
part of the
know.
plan. It's a cliffhanger, so
Yeah, I think that she ran to go get the phone for Jason because, like, what would she have done? Let him go, and then
yeah,
what?
right.
Because she's there as well, like being whatever is happening with her. I also was thinking maybe like the code that Jocelyn gave was also like some sort of code that I don't know, like maybe opened the thing, but also alerted to like there being some kind of issue, like a double, I don't know. We don't
Hmm.
know anything yet. And they didn't really show much of them. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I did also love Anna being like drunk at the bar. Uh, I love me some drunk Anna and calling Brennan and going off. And I
Hmm.
think that this is really showing us her real feelings about the WSB. And we haven't this is like the first story where we're really really getting her that I remember, maybe there's earlier stories of her talking about the WSB kind of taking advantage of like younger women, and not being like the best of places.
Hmm.
So yeah, any thoughts about Spy Hospital?
Nah, I mean, even though, the whole week was entertaining, this was probably the least entertaining for me. So,
Right, agreed,
yeah,
agreed. It's not my favorite. It's also confusing. We don't know what's happening. And
right.
so at first I didn't mind it. I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite. But they got probably like another week or so for me to be like, okay, what's going on?
Hmm.
There's like too many questions are out that we need answered and they don't feel like they're answering them.
Right. I did think my only hot topic or hot take was just like, it's wild that we have this resort that has a lab and a dungeon. Not a dungeon, but just like like all this stuff going on in the resort. I'm like, what's going on? And then and I'm like, this looks curiously kind of like Sidwell's, jail dungeon area. But
I
yeah, it
don't
would
know
make
what's
sense if
happening.
they are partnering with Sidwell, so it shouldn't be a shock.
Right.
Maybe they're using one of his, properties that he owns.
Yeah. Do you have any hot takes or anything that we did not cover from the week?
No, I have like this hot take where I write Marco, what? In caps, and now I don't remember why. But it was on Wednesday that
Probably when he was it when he told
I
Drew?
maybe, yeah. Ugh, I'm just upset with Marco, how it's turning out.
Mm-mm.
He's supposed to be the supportive, loving boyfriend, and now
I
he's out
know.
for revenge. But I guess,
I
I
know.
mean, that's what you got to do to keep your character interesting on the show.
True. Because that also is something I want to say that I think it's so fascinating. Like, in order to be a good, and some of this is also like because the writing hadn't been whatever has been whatever it's been the last few years. But in order to be a character that people care about or that has like screen time, you have to be doing something interesting. It's not
Right.
enough to just be like present and like, being like vanilla and whatever. Like you got
Yeah.
to do something wrong. You got to do something right. Like even the idea of like I'm sick of Drew. Well, yeah, that's the point. Like, and we are talking about Drew. Drew is a topic of conversation. He eventually will get his comeuppance, but you gotta like make it like at such a high level that when it
Yeah.
happens, it's like a relief. We're like ready, ready, ready. And I understand that people still have like some PTSD from like Peter August, and the fact that they never did that. But that was, I think, in the era of the show where they weren't doing what they needed to do to like satisfy and close out stories.
Hmm.
And this, I don't think is happening. I think that we are going to get some kind of like a closed circle. I don't know. Even if they like do something to Drew, I don't necessarily think of. I'm not sure what happens with Cameron. I don't think they kill Drew. I think that it's possible that a couple of things. One, that Drew can be something can happen. He can get like some kind of head injury during the thing, and it knocks him back to being a decent person because it was some kind of brain injury. So that's one thing. Or that who we're seeing is not actually Drew, and
Hmm.
that that'll tie into this like larger story with like the lab and with Sidwell and blah blah blah. And then we'll come back and we'll bring Drew because the key for me about this not being Drew is the lack of concern for Scout.
Hmm.
That this is the character that we literally like who came back like putting his daughter's name into the wall,
Hmm.
and he practically raised Danny for years of his life. Like he was
Hmm.
never this way. And so the what he is doing with the kids makes me feel like either there's some kind of brain situation happening with him or
Hmm.
what we're looking at is not actually true.
Yeah. And it stems from when he went to jail for Carly. So that's what
Hmm.
we got to think. We got to think about what are they
Either
going to do?
that or maybe something from when they were in Greenland.
Yeah, even back then. Oh,
Hmm. Because I'm thinking, did he go to jail before or after Greenland?
I think it was after.
Okay, so yeah, maybe it
Yeah.
was the jail piece. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whew.
So yeah. All right,
And
next week. Oh, go ahead.
next week's gonna be short too, huh?
Next week is 4 days. No Monday again, friends. because there's no new Monday, send us to your friends and tell them to watch us on Monday. Um, Tuesday, a shocking act of violence occurs. Carly issues a warning. Michael is dismayed.
Mhm.
Elizabeth advocates for Willow. Sunny delivers grim news. I can't believe after all of this, Elizabeth is still advocating for Willow.
Right?
I think it's going to be like, without her kid, she's going crazy. No,
No,
not
she's
trying to
going
hear it.
crazy. Right.
Um, Wednesday, Michael confides in Brooklyn. I wonder if he tells Brooklyn about Willow.
Willow, yeah.
Because that then, I think, well, we were talking, I haven't read these spoilers yet. I think that that helps us in the like Willow Chase, um, Brooklyn like
Hmm.
dynamic of putting them at odds with each other. If Chase doesn't know, but Brooklyn does know, Brooklyn's gonna be like, keep Willow away, and Chase is still gonna be helping her. Um, Lucas cautions Liz, probably about Willow. Um,
Hmm.
Anna and Dante respond to a 911 call. So initially, I heard people talking about this and like people thinking, because I did read that and they thought it was going to be Drew, and I thought it was going to be Drew too. But it looks like this might be just the judge.
Yeah. It's probably the judge.
Yeah. Um, Portia makes an announcement. Um, Thursday, news of a crime sends shockwaves through Port Charles. This is why I was confused. I thought that maybe it would be because I just saw that. I've seen these spoilers. I haven't seen everything else.
Hmm.
I Part of why I thought it might not be the judge is because there's a judge releasing shockwaves through Port Charles.
Right.
We shall see. Um, Anna and Chase interview suspects. Trina is shaken. Nina makes a risky move. Curtis confides in Jordan. Mm.
Mm.
Friday, Jason is shocked. Jocelyn and Vaughn fear for their lives. Brennan manipulates Anna. Alexis is floored. Michael gets new intel. Now, I did see a spoiler picture. Brett on Twitter dropped it, and it was like Alexis and Willow was like holding like a bag or something. So Willow, if you remember, is still Scout's guardian if something happens to Drew.
Mm.
So it could make sense that Alexis will be talking to her.
Mm-mm-mm. Guess we'll have to
Hmm.
see.
Hmm.
Um, Before we end, I have a little shout out. Congratulations to Roger Howard and Tamara Braun,
Oh
who got
yeah,
jobs at Y&R. I'm super excited. So,
yeah, yeah. I might
no,
have to
have
check it out.
I have no idea what they're doing, but it's great. So, yay!
Love them both as actors.
Mhm.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Thanks for joining us for early Sunday shift on a Saturday, and we will see you next week.